Welcome back. We're live today. This is the Holistic Truth. I'm your host, Jamie Dorley, with the co-host, Joe Messino. Welcome back, Joe. How we doing?
We're doing fantastic. You know, Jamie, I saw something on TV the other day that was talking about longest-running episodic TV shows. And you know what this is?
What is it?
This is the longest-running episodic duo healthy talk show on the air today, running strong.
And most entertaining, and I got a lot of great feedback. We talked about, getting clean and getting lean in 2023. So we did part one, and today we're going to fill it up and wrap it up with part two.
Good.
Because we've had so many great questions and feedback about this, and this is cleansing season, right?
Yeah, and like you said, it's getting close to that last day.
It is
Super Bowl Sunday.
It is. People will start their New Year's resolutions in January. Most of them have given up by now. But have no fear. You can always take a step back and then get right back on the program.
Sure can.
Because we found now with the new research, with stuff that we've been talking about for 30 years, this comes right from Harvard Medical School. Did you have a good reputation, Joe?
I think they're up there among the top 2 or 3.
So I love what they said. Similar to what Dr. Tracy Strop says is don't count calories, count chemicals. And there's really 3 underlying causes of why you would have higher weight than normal, right? So you got the type of food you eat. You are what you eat, right?
That's right.
And what type of metabolism do you have? And then, of course, the newer one is the microbiome.
Absolutely. The microbiome and the gut-brain connection, this has been getting more and more popular amongst everybody and all of our colleagues over the last couple of years, and there's a good reason why.
Yeah, because if the microbiome is out of balance, you're going to have more cravings, right? You're going to consume more sugar and more alcohol and more grains and more starches. And then what's going to happen is that your body's going to get very, very good at promoting fat storage. And then the energy levels drop, cravings go up. We know the story, but the gut microbiome we've been talking about in natural healing for 30 years as being really important. And now they've come out with newer data showing why.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because you said the body that gets really good at storing fat. That's another one of Dr. Tracy's things. She said that it never does anything wrong, your body. And if you keep giving it what it's not supposed to have, it's going to find a place to put it.
Yeah, so we got to get a shift going. So the first thing, of course, we got to look at the microbiome. The second is the food you eat. Keep it really simple, folks. If it does not spoil on your counter after 2 or 3 days, it's probably not real food.
That's right.
So we know from all of our education, it's either junk or food. And in fact, the food pyramid has gotten worse now because they've put in some of these foods or junk like Frosted Mini Wheats and Cheerios and chips and vegetable oil. These things have all gotten good promotions as far as the new food pyramid goes. So we like you to follow our great pyramid of health, right, Joe?
Exactly. Yeah, it's about whole foods. It's about real foods. It's about things that are not made in a factory. I've never seen a tree grow Cheerios yet.
Not lately, and not around here, of course. So we want to jump right into some of the results.
Yeah.
We know from our clients, like Paul Neville at the Pump House, that a lot of his clients were consuming a lot of hormones in their food, right? So he got people off of even any type of beef because a lot of that is loaded with hormones, even grass-fed. So we want to make sure, one is get them off hormone-laced food. So that would be dairy products, and that would be beef, was the 2 things he found. But look at Fabi in 1 week on the Get Lean kit, Get Clean and Lean, she dropped 10 pounds in 1 week.
And that's a good 10 pounds that she dropped, right, Jamie? That's not just losing water weight.
Oh, no. She'd been on the program already, was working out hard.
Right.
Diet was cleaned up, and they noticed when she cut the red meats out, cut off all dairy products, and got on the Clean and Lean kit, boom. There goes 10 pounds, right?
Yeah.
So,
and the great thing about it is you don't have to sacrifice protein. It's in the shake.
Absolutely. So we like to have the shake, of course, with the greens in it, and then the Live Complete. But this is nothing new. You look at the body's toxic load. These things build up over time. In fact, way back in 1982, the EPA study showed that over 30,000 people in the U.S., when they looked at their body fat stores, all of them showed plastics, pesticides, solvents, perfumes, and dioxins. So the next time someone asks who should cleanse, what's the answer?
Everybody.
Yeah, and then I think it really gets down to is, well, what are we cleansing from, right? There's a top 5 toxins. That was in 82. Now we have the glyphosates, right? This is things in Roundup. This has become part of our endocrine and our ecosystem, endocrine in our body, ecosystem in our environment. But this has become part of it, and it affects all the different components of the endocrine system.
It sure does. And, Jamie, people always ask, why is it that all of a sudden you can't eat bread and pasta? Well, when we were kids, we could eat bread and pasta because it wasn't laden. The wheat wasn't laden with glyphosate.
Yeah, one of my clients put out an old video. It was one of those dance shows, right? And she was saying, wow, everyone was in great shape back then. And she says, look, I know why. It's because the food wasn't loaded with toxins, right?
That's right.
You ate real food, and you weren't loaded up with toxins. That's what we're showing right here. So, in fact, we have this toxicity test, Joe. So this is a nice test you can take either at your healthcare professional's office or you can take it at your home. And what are we trying to really figure out here?
We're trying to figure out your degree of toxicity. We know everybody's toxic to some degree, but let's really narrow it down to how bad it is.
Yeah, it's a great way to quantify your toxicity exposure and then the toxicity load, because some things you may not realize are contributing to that. Maybe you're taking over-the-counter pain relievers like Tylenol or ibuprofen, right? Those things were designed to really use once in a blue moon. People use them daily, right? And heavy consumers. Of course, we know alcohol, tobacco, fast foods, right? But there's a lot of toxins people don't even realize that they're exposed to on a daily basis.
Sure, like drinking water out of a lot of plastic bottles, right?
Absolutely.
Right off the bat. They think they're doing something good.
So there's a lot of ways to get better education. So if you're a healthcare professional, we have the professional guides. If you're a patient or consumer, we have the consumer guides. And then we have the catalog, which fits for everybody, right?
Sure does.
So this is nothing new. We talked about the toxicity issue, but what about the nutritional deficiencies, Joe?
It's just getting worse, Jamie, because way back in 2002, we knew we had nutritional deficiencies in our food supply. And, of course, even the American Medical Association knew it.
Yeah, this goes all the way back, 40 years ago. You're looking at the fact of that the AMA was telling people for the first time, they've been, for 40 years, they've been saying just eat right.
Yeah.
Right? Then they change their position, eat right and take a multi. The challenge is there's a big difference between the multivitamins out there, right? But when you're really looking at supporting detoxification in the body, this isn't something you turn on and off when you want.
Oh, no.
There are really 4 different phases of this, 1 and 2 in the liver, kidneys and bladder clearing, and then, of course, you have the colon clearing.
Right.
So what are some of the nutrients that drive each one of these phases?
Yeah, you need, in phase 1 especially, you need vitamins and minerals. Your body needs to be equipped with nutrients to handle the detoxification program or the detoxification process. So you do that by making sure you're getting a high quality macro and micronutrient into your diet on a daily basis.
Oh, absolutely. So then you look at amino acids and the cruciferous vegetables for phase 2. That's where things start to go awry, right? When you don't have the concentration of nutrients to support that, because those toxins that have been partially broken down, they become really toxic if they're not further broken down and excreted from the body.
So true.
Then you have issues with people with the bladder, clearing the toxins that way, and then the colon clearance. You got to have bowel movements in a healthy way every day. So let's look at another great case study here. This is from Tanya, which was great, was that she was having challenges. She said she felt bloated and her stomach was hurting her all the time, and she just could not lose weight no matter what she tried. Put her on the Clean and Lean kit, and lo and behold, Joe, down 22 pounds.
Yeah.
That was only in a couple months.
Amazing. That's amazing. That's a perfect example of somebody that's doing all the right things right and not getting the results. Years ago, Jamie, you and I used to say all the time it was either hormonal or digestive, remember? It still is, but now it's the toxic load.
Yeah, and if you look at it, think about this movement since like around the 70s, right? High fructose corn syrup, right? Then the next promotion was fat-free or low-fat diets because
Yeah.
fat was the culprit
Yeah.
of cardiovascular disease.
According to the American Heart Association.
And now here we are 40 years later, and it's really a snowballed out of control.
Yeah,
right?
it really has.
Because, people are, it's ingrained in their head, low-fat or no-fat diets. They're eating things like yogurt and cheeses and all these things that is really making them more toxic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're factoring in things like, they got very low nutrients, and we just showed how important that is to process all these hormones. Let's look at it on the visual, Joe. You need not only the right vitamins, but the active vitamins in the right dosing, because phase one is where it all starts, right?
That's right.
You got to allow the toxins to go from that fat soluble compound to be broken down into an intermediate compound, but be careful, because if it's left as an intermediate compound, that's becoming more dangerous than the actual toxin itself. Then we need to take the intermediate compound in phase two. You need to go through all these different steps with the amino acids and the cruciferous vegetables. Then we get to phase three. What happens a lot of times for people with kidney and bladder dysfunction?
Well, if they can't eliminate the toxins once they've been chelated or clawed out and removed by the liver, then they have to go somewhere. They're not just going to sit in limbo. They're going to go right back into those fat cells.
Yeah, and you show certain people with the poor microbiome, right, that have some of these enzymes in their colon, they will resplit the toxin, they'll be recirculated. So, folks, you need to make sure you have all four phases covered in a healthy way every day. If not, these will build up. We're leading to the master antioxidant in the body called glutathione. What is glutathione involved in, Joe?
Wow, there's just so many processes, from your immune system to methylation, removing toxins, energy production, you name it. It's called the master antioxidant for a reason. It controls just about every phase of energy and detox in your body.
So rather than the food pyramid by the government, let's look at the Great Pyramid of Health by Nutritional Frontiers. Got to thank, of course, the authors, Dr. Tracy Strout. Candace had a big impact on this, myself, you. So let's talk about the Great Pyramid of Health and what's the difference.
The difference is this creates a true foundation for health, right? The bottom of the pyramid has to be the foundation or it doesn't work. And so you create that by these foundations, and the first thing you address is always the gut.
Oh, absolutely. So we look at the foundations, which are your lifestyle choices, which are free. The water, the food, your movement, your detoxification pathways, digestion, right? And emotional wellness and sleep. These are all the foundations, and we build it from prebiotic, probiotic, and enzymes, micro and macro, essential fats, phytonutrients. And the great thing is, Joe, if you did one scoop of greens and one scoop of Power Cleanse, you'd build an entire pyramid.
That's the beauty of that combination, Jamie. And there's no better or more powerful combination that I've seen than those two products.
And the great thing is with the lean greens is that we've fortified this with the PRT, the patented research trademarked ingredients, starting with Imodium. So let's hear about Imodium.
Imodium is what a game changer, because all these years glutathione, we've tried to take it orally, and it's just has a real problem being absorbed orally. And then the big one was liposomal, and that tastes like, as you always say, rotten eggs. But Imodium changed the whole picture. Now you have a bioavailable form of glutathione that we know through their studies, that's why it's patented, is over 100 times more absorbable in the body.
Oh, absolutely. So the great thing is we have the Imodium, we have Vitacholine, NAC, DMG, active folate. Have you seen any other greens formulas on the market that are supported with all the PRTs?
No, you usually just see greens in the greens formula.
We
Not
didn't
here.
stop there. We fortified the greens. So this has all the support nutrients in it, and you can do this as a cleanse just by itself. In addition, when you look at the vitamins and minerals, if you want to go in a different direction and make sure you're getting these nutrients in every day, we have the men's complete and the women's complete. Your thoughts?
Oh, well, they're exactly what they say they are. They're complete. It's not a multivitamin mineral. It's a complete basis foundation for your health. It has everything from whole foods to probiotics, amino acids, you name it, and everything in it is bioactive.
Yeah, so when people say, well, why do you have the men's and women's complete on a clean and lean kit option? Well, if you don't do the power cleanse,
Yes.
you can do it a la carte with these, right? So
You can do your men's or women's complete along with your greens.
absolutely. And the Live
Live
Complete, so you got
Complete, there it
some
is.
lot of options. There's a Live Complete there. So it's like the greens in a capsule.
Right.
So we took the Imodium, we took the Bacillus coagulans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spore-forming probiotic. We took the curcumin, the patented trademark curcumin. So we put all these in here. And what's the ultimate goal with the Live Complete?
Well, the ultimate goal with the Live Complete is to make sure that you're getting through all those phases of detoxification we talked about earlier.
So someone asked the other day, well, what's in a Live Complete for the colon? I said, Bacillus coagulans.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than
They
that.
said, what's in the Live Clear too? I said, yeah. They're both supporting.
That's right.
And that's what we're talking about right here. You have all these nutrients in there. But the other one we don't really talk about enough is the Activin.
Mm-hmm.
So let's hear about the Activin.
Activin is one of my all-time favorite nutrients, Jamie. It's a patented research form of grapeseed extract, one of the most powerful antioxidants. And what it does is going to reinforce the lining of every part of that digestive tract.
And there's over 90 published studies on Activin.
Yep.
I love the studies where it compared it versus vitamin A, versus vitamin C, and vitamin E by themselves.
Yeah.
And then it went against all three of them together and outperformed them all on supporting the body's ability to detoxify.
Right. I mean, look, grapeseed, grape skin, grapes are one of the most powerful foods on the planet if you use them correctly. Activin's by far the best.
So we talk about genetics, right? We talked about toxicity, and we talked about the underlying causes with nutritional deficiencies. However, a lot of people say, well, it's genetics, Joe. What's your answer?
My answer to that is nice try. Easy excuse. But it's not your genetics. It's the effect of your lifestyle on your genes.
Yeah, it's called epigenetics, right? Nutrigenomics. You go all the way back to Dr. Jeffrey Bland, my mentor, the father of functional medicine. He says genetic determinism is a fallacy. And he presented all the research. He says it's about 12%. He says, I'll give him up to 30 on some of the studies, depending on how bad your genetics are. He says, that still allows you 70%.
Sure does. You're
that can
still
have
in the
tremendous
majority.
impact, right? You still have more than 2 times advantages over your genetics. And here's some of our super biohackers. Let's talk about, the MTHFR. It's where people can't utilize active folic acid. So we do is we give them the quadrifolate that can biohack somebody's genetic predeterminism, right?
Yes.
You have these SNPs in their body. So it is good you get tested, but you can get tested and use them or not get tested and use them.
That's right.
Either way.
I like that term, biohack. Let's use that for something good.
Yeah, another one is DMG, dimethylglycine, 5 U.S. patents on this, including for the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis, which most people are told when they have an autoimmune condition. Is there any cure?
No, they're told you just got to live with it.
So I say there is no cure, but however, there is a cause. So let's run for the cause. And DMG, as Dr. Roger Kendall says, will break down so your body does not have to. Last time I met with Dr. Kendall, I asked him what he was up to. He says looking at some latest research on DMG and cancer, of which it was about this high, the stack that he was looking at. So there's actually a book on DMG.
Yep.
And the nice thing is this can actually biohack your genetics.
Right.
Plus, the last underlying cause is stress. Right. So let's talk about DMG and stress, because the book and all the research says it has the potential to help the body adapt to environmental, physical, emotional, mental stressors by providing nutrients that are often depleted in chronic stress.
That's right. And that's because DMG, amongst everything else, is an adaptogen. So that means it's going to go where your body needs it.
And the biggest benefit is it enhances oxygen utilization during low oxygen times. When would that be? When someone's working out?
Oh, my God, yeah. When you're
What about
working
when
out?
someone has cardiovascular issues or poor circulation?
And how about if you have sleep issues? You're not getting enough oxygen. Absolutely. And everybody's been, you've been cutting off your oxygen for about the last 3 years.
Yeah, environmental, physical, emotional, and mental stressors. DMG is the solution, of which it is in the greens.
Yep.
It is in the Power Cleanse, and it is in the Live Complete. So we have it in multiple delivery systems. So we're talking about the Imodium. This is the most bioavailable oral glutathione on the planet. Nutritional Frontiers is the first company to actually utilize Imodium, not only in a capsule but also in the powder.
Right. And it's unusual that something is available in both forms, delivery forms like that.
Yeah, because if you look at, well, one is we want compliance,
Right.
and two, we want to maximize the benefit, because we know that glutathione can help with a great antioxidant, right? Liver health, skin health, brain, cardiovascular. There's so many different benefits. But what they did is actually study the Imodium versus regular glutathione and then NAC. So they did this in animal studies first. They actually depleted glutathione levels,
Right.
and then saw how much can they increase them with regular glutathione. That did about a 50% increase. The NAC about 66%. The Imodium, however, 140% improvement.
Yeah, this is a powerful slide, folks, because this really breaks it down and shows you the bioavailability of this nutrient, which you're not getting anywhere else. And Jamie, a lot of the information over the last 3 years said people most susceptible to infection were those with the lowest glutathione levels.
Yeah, another one is looking at ALT levels, right? That's the enzyme in the liver, right? So when those are elevated, meaning the liver is working overtime.
Right.
So again, they did this in studies, and they show that the Imodium can actually reduce the ALT levels more significantly than regular glutathione and NAC.
Right.
So it shows it's more bioavailable, then it works better on the enzymes in the liver.
And like Jamie said earlier, folks, if you're just taking over the counters, you know what? You're elevating your liver enzymes because they have a hard time breaking those down.
Yeah, and the last thing they looked at is, the antioxidant ability by the Imodium, significantly better than regular glutathione. That was after a 24-hour treatment with the Imodium. So the research is there. We look at the detox program, Joe. We have the solutions to your resolution, and that's the Clean and Lean Kit. Let's look at another one here. Tanya, this is originally, she was down 18 pounds on the program. We show where that actually went to 22 pounds, right? And what they found is that, her ability to cleanse and detoxify was really what got her over the hump. So where do we start with stress?
Where do you start with stress? That's a good question because there's so many, Jamie. There's physical, there's emotional, there's chemical, there's invisible stress from all the, the 5G. So where do you start? You start by equipping your body to be able to handle it.
Yeah, you go right with the food, right?
Exactly.
You have to eat every day. You have to drink something every day. And most of the food on the planet right now is toxic. So the great thing about the shake is that this is going to give your body exactly the nutrients it needs. There's nothing in there you don't want. What are some of the things in food that we should be concerned with or in junk?
Oh, my God. Additives, preservatives, artificial sweeteners, colors, artificial anything, right? They put these things in because the quality to begin with is bad.
Yeah, and even the quality of the macronutrient may be bad, right? The fat may be bad.
Yeah.
The protein may be poor. The carbohydrate may be high sugar, and the fiber may be low. The Power Cleanse gives you all the nutrients you need without anything else you don't want.
right.
So macronutrients, micronutrients, all the different nutrients your body needs as a food. Could you live on Power Cleanse?
You sure could. And not only that, Jamie, if your budget is low, you could use just the Power Cleanse for a detox.
Absolutely. And, when you look at food in general, we both travel a lot. Food has become very pricey. So when you do the Power Cleansing greens, it's actually a great way to get better value for more nutrient-dense food.
Oh, absolutely. You can't get more nutrient-dense than the greens. I mean, with all of the superfoods that are in there, the cracked cell chlorella, spirulina, and you've got all of the amino acids you need. You got Imodium in there. I mean, it goes on and on. You got pre and probiotics in there. It's everything that your body needs.
Then, if you're having more cravings, you can add things in like the Berrytone. This is really nice because it works with leptin and adiponectin levels. Right, when those are out of balance, you have a lot of cravings.
Yep.
You never feel full.
Right.
and your body is not really able to start the fat burning process, right?
Right.
So Berrytone has a really interesting ingredient called Ervingia, right? That's African mango. That has the ability to rebalance leptin and adiponectin
Yes,
levels,
so that
right?
you don't feel hungry all the time, and when you do eat, you feel full.
Feel full, satiety, right? Absolutely. And then we have control on top of it. This works with some of the brain chemistry, right? Where the dopamine and serotonin aren't in balance. So we have things in there like HTP and the fenugreek. These will balance blood sugar and balance dopamine and serotonin. So how will the person feel?
You're going to feel better because it also has L-theanine in it, all right? So that's going to have that calming effect while your body's doing the work.
And we didn't stop there. Of course, Garcinia. I know we've all had family members, friends do really well.
Do very well.
Garcinia. I like this because it helps with the thermogenic effect without making you wired or stimulated. And in addition, we put chromium in. I know you do oligo scans. What do you find with most people with chromium levels?
When chromium levels are bottomed out, and I see that all the time with oligo scan, they have blood sugar issues. Chromium is so important to helping the cell receive the glucose from the insulin.
That's a great point because I know people with blood sugar levels that are high or out of control, diabetics, pre-diabetics, and people struggling with weight. You normally see low or no chromium, right?
Exactly, because it's a trace mineral to begin with, so you only need micrograms.
You know, and then when you look at it, you know, we go back to the underlying causes. And I love the Candid Kill because when you look at the research from Harvard Medical School, it talked about the microbiome. So the best way to change that is by starving the bad bugs, and usually it's candida, funguses, molds, things like that, parasites. Starve them with the diet, and what do they normally feed on?
They're going to feed on sugar.
Sugar, starches, and grains, right?
Yeah.
So one
Which all
is
means
starve
sugar.
them. Number two is kill them with the Candid Kill. And then three is replace them with a good probiotic.
Right.
And we have some in the greens, or you could take an extra one on your own.
Absolutely. You can always take an extra one, and you should with every meal probably.
Yeah, and the great thing is here's two more case studies, right? You know, we have, Shane, who was really trying to figure out how to get back on the program, right? He struggled with some weight. You know, in 2 weeks, he was down 15 pounds. And then we have the other extreme, Charlie, who's really pushing it to the edge because he's doing competitions and he couldn't get that last little bit off. And then, boom, he did a clean and lean kit. Look at him, Joe.
There it is. Proof's in the pudding right there.
And the last thing we have is, of course, is the weight solutions, all the booklet with the great thing is it comes with the food program, the protocols in there, everything's
Instead
part
of
of
telling you what not to eat, it helps to tell you what to eat. That's important.
And just go back to some of the foundations, right? You know, sometimes people are looking for the secret. There's no secret out there. The only secret is discipline, hard work, and consistency.
Yep, and then you have to have the right tools, and the right tools are in the Clean and Lean Kit.
So these are all available, not only in January but February, on very good incentives for you to take advantage. If you have any questions, you can always email us at Nutritional Frontiers or World of Wellness, or you can actually call the office and talk to somebody live.
We'd be happy to. We want to help. We're here to help, so give us a call.
Well, thanks so much, Joe.
Right.
We appreciate it. We got some great feedback.
We can't leave yet. You know whose birthday is today?
No.
The lovely and talented Mrs. Dorley.
Oh, is it a there we go. Happy birthday,
Mrs. Dorley.
This is a big one, the big 4-0.
Okay.
So she's celebrating today, and on the end of a great weekend of celebrating.
Oh,
so,
love it. Great.
But happy birthday out there.
Kristen.
Thanks for all the support, Joe. Thanks for everyone listening. Have a great day, and God bless.